Good morning, blockchain basement homies and homettes. Welcome to the show. Today we have beautiful signals coming out of the Trump administration of some finalization of this damn Chinese tariff war. The news just broke right before we went live here, so we're going to be taking a look at that. Some good signals coming out of the altcoin sector. For God's sakes, are altcoins ready to rally? We're going to take a look at this as well as the historic edging of the altcoin sector has ongoing in the minds of crypto degens. We do see some actually pretty bullish signals on that we're going to take a look at and take a little bit of a look at the war front as well. So welcome to Taco Tuesday here on the Blockchain Basement. We got Cali Crypto Dude up in the chat. Ben Simmons highlighting ICP is finally moving. Oh my God, hell doth frozen over. ICP up 11% today. We'll take a look at that. I'll see if some TVL has finally decided to come back into ICP, because that would be where I'm enticed back into the waters of the juggalos. Now, this is the Bitcoin way. Excellent to meet you at the studio. It was like kind of like the Hangout Studio House. She was there while we were doing a bunch of interviews. It's kind of crazy we were in there, but you know what? We were able to cook a lot of steak. I ate steak basically the entire time. Simons, not Simmons. All right, Simons. I like it. Like, what's that guy? It's a Simon from American Idol. Kind of like that. Mountain Magnets. All my peeps here. I'm looking to the side here. Flat Smack. Cali Crypto Dude. DC Alden. Uncle Tommy. Deucey does. What is up, Deucey? Deucey, if you got time, let's have a call in the morning. Sufficient enough. Tomorrow morning, Deuce, let's try to have a call. DeFi crypto airdrops, man. Oh, man. DeFi crypto and airdrops deleted me off of Discord. He's like, that guy's an imposter. Get him. It was me. Well, I'm back on there, though. I love you, man. I love you. Easy. I'm on the Discord in the Discover Investments group as the boogeyman Baba Gribble. That is literally my name. So, Chastity, Peter John, Jay-Z, Kyle Watts, what up, everyone? Yeah, my name on Discord is the Boogeyman Baba Gribble. It's the Boogeyman Dale Gribble mixed with Baba Yaga, right? And that's kind of the nickname they gave me. So, because I am a prepper, I'm a little bit insane, and I am definitely a hillbilly. Now, if you want to follow all the insanity, make sure to follow me on X as well, at Druth Crypto. I was shopping around in Costco last night. Saw that we had a nice move up from this original entry point that I told you I was going to get into in the Dig Discord about a week ago. We did fall back down to that level, and I hopped out of the trade at about 106.25. So, you know, I'm snooping around for another entry point. Things are looking pretty damn bullish. But I did hop out of this latest trade and looking for new entry points, which we will do here on the show today. But make sure you're following me there. We are very, very close as well to 79,000 subscribers, which is great. We have not gone to zero, so that's super. John Doe, you know what? Isaac's not here right now to defend himself, okay? So I'm just going to have to do the honors.
You are banned!
All right, there we go. So, John Doe, you're going into timeout. I'm going to defend Isaac's mother's honor in his stead, like a virtuous movement would be. Coins Chick, thanks for the gifted memberships as well. Appreciate you. So yeah, we're moving along here. This is going great. I'm going to start trying to do more of these membership trading streams as well on top of the Dig Discord shows. And you know what? If I want to get some housekeeping done, because there's a lot of we've never been more here to stay in crypto. I have a really great interview coming out with one of our main partners and sponsors of the show, which I'm super excited and proud to have, which is none other than Bitcoin IRA. Okay. And see, if you're looking at the long term, you're a long-term believer in Bitcoin and what it's accomplishing on the macro, an IRA really gives you some good advantages here. You can take advantage and leverage the tax advantages of this IRA environment. Roth IRAs, especially if you're eligible, you won't owe any taxes ever. You can trade 75 cryptos completely tax-free within this eligibility bracket. Now, make sure to give them a call to find out if you're eligible. They have an actual person behind the phone. If you want to find out how to do this, what the landscape actually looks like, 877-936-7175. Again, it's 877-936-7175. It's an actual person that you can talk to. And that's what another reason why I really like working for them and with them is because there's a real person behind the phone that you can talk to and get some advice on your current situation. Okay. Time to short, I was getting asked if it was time to short in the Discord chat. I have a pretty hard-sided opinion of this. It's like, I am looking at this and, there's no denying that. I mean, God, we're looking bullish right now. I'm not going to be ready to short this market until the Pi cycle top indicator flips. Okay. I am not going to be ready to short the market until the Pi cycle top indicator flips. Let's go take a look at that. Just, I know we've looked at it quite a bit here in the show, but I think it matters for everyone coming in. That's kind of new. I am not shorting this market until the red line crosses the green line. The red line being the 111-day moving average and the green being the 350-day times 2. These have called perfect tops and just kind of set the tone for bearish activity to follow for, about a year or two after these things cross. We are far from that time. And actually, we have a ton of room in between these things. Even more has been created from the big pullback down to 75K. So the market's cooking, man. I am not ready to short this market as things sit right now. I will hop on over here to the LBank account. If you're trading, make sure to use the LBank link in our description and send us your user ID to Office of Hit Network to get into the Dig Discord group chat for free. Literally, all we need is the user ID to make sure you're out there trading with us. Now, where I'm seeing, my short-term hope within the day is to try to snag this 105 level on Bitcoin's price action. It's not that I'm bearish on the outlook or thinking that, we're going to be heading down here and this is the top. I do not feel that way. But I do not like taking longs out I'll show you the juice here. I'll show you the juice. So this is the 15-minute, and how I enter longs is when I see this is the entry point, right? I look for the green dot on the volatility wave being below 60. Okay, that's how I find my entry points on the 15-minute time frame. Then I track it, look at progress, and especially look at the MACD on the 4-hour. I think the MACD on the 4-hour really has been hitting nicely. We have flipped into the green, into the upside on the MACD. We're just about to try to break to the upside on, the general RSIs as well. But I saw this MACD getting ready to flip. That's where I gave the signal in the Discord group that, hey, boys and girls, buckle up because things are about to get fun. And the last time we saw this MACD flip bullish, when we were actually coming out of a trench was quite some time ago. We were coming out of this trench right here. We flipped the 4-hour MACD bullish, and man, that ended up with a major move. Let's measure this. So it ended up with about a 20% move on Bitcoin. Then you see the time after that, about a 12% move. Time after that, about a 9% move. So the 4-hour MACD and kind of the monitoring is where my mindset is to really see the bigger moves. And we're trading still off of the general thesis of this weekly green dot having been printed. So I kind of flop back and forth between the Fu Manchu and the MACD on the larger time frames. But that green dot being printed right there, I'll make this a lot bigger actually so you can see. I'll delete this one and pull this one up. This is the money flow and the overall divergences that are happening. And we printed this green dot when Bitcoin's at about 85K. And these take a few months to play out, right? So, I mean, this is on the weekly time frame. And when we see these red dots, it doesn't necessarily mark the exact peak. But honestly, if you're getting ahead of this and taking the trade before all of it plays out, you're doing it just fine. You're doing just great in the situation. So if you are trading, just be careful today. Right now, as things sit, we're at $106,500. We are seeing some dark green happen on the overall altcoin side. So that doesn't look bad. Honestly, it seems like these altcoins are starting to wake up. And one thing that I did notice is a lot of these were March 2024 runners. So this is something very interesting for me to see. It's like Uniswap. We got some Aave, Aptos, Near, ICP, even Arbitrum. Finally, Arbitrum. Oh my God, Solana. Look at that. So we're seeing actually a lot of blue chip alts start to wake up here. And I'm going to take a look at the altcoin sector in aggregate here. Before we get into all the news, actually, because this is actually something we got to keep an eye on. We are riding this upward trend line. Right here, we're printing a red dot. And, if this does play out and we see dominance start to tick back up, because this is the total three excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, waiting and expecting like that June, July timeframe. We are in June right now, but I'm watching over the summer for this to actually break out. And I think in general, my overall target for altcoins, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, is around the $2 trillion mark. I think that this breakout is going to be 1.5 to 2 trillion on everything excluding Ethereum and Bitcoin. And then Bitcoin, I'm seeing around the 3 trillion, 3 to 4 trillion for Bitcoin. So that's where things sit right now. Overall, there's some crazy movements here. We have Dog with Hat up 20% on the day. We have Hyperliquid at $37 a unit, sitting at $12.92 or 12.9%. And SPX, S&P 6900 coming out of the left gate here. Internet Computer Token with its 12% grab. Nice to see. Athena, 12%. Still down 50% on the week, but Athena trying to wake up. Things are looking actually kind of exciting. Now, what we're seeing here is, a lot of people, if I see a lot of people de-risking for summer, I'm staying risk on for summer. This pullback we just went through, it was seen on the M2 money supply. I'm trading. I'm actually always in extreme risk. That is what I'm doing, man. I never de-risk because my real risk is holding fiat. Does that make sense? So if in my mind, de-risking means going into Bitcoin. That's about as least risky as I can get. Oh, where's the super chat? I missed a super chat from Deucey. Oh, okay. Let's hear. Could you check out FHE Mind Network later? Yes, I will, Deucey. And thanks for the 2 Connect bucks as well, Deucey. I'll check that out at the end of the show here. Just keep in mind, it's about FHE. All right, we'll keep that in mind for you, brother. Now, the Bitcoin news, the movements, I've been covering this, and it's actually rolling out to be something kind of crazy. The Bitcoin treasury firm Metaplanet has become Japan's #1 stock by trading value and volume for the first time ever. And something kind of interesting and exciting for me to see is someone, it's not really known who, but someone stepped in and shored up the Japanese bond market. I think it was last night. Let's see if I got this. It was the best bond sale for 10-year bonds in Japan in like a year since April 2024. So, and this time frame was very interesting for me to think about because March and April of 2024 ended up being very violent upward movements in the altcoin sector. 10-year bond auction garnered the highest demand ratio since that time frame for Japan's 10-year bonds last night. Just a little bit of macro 1-2 right there. But Japan and this Metaplanet company are definitely the canary in the coal mine, in my opinion, for a lot of Wall Street firms and companies on the regular markets that see the Bitcoin strategy and see how much upside the others are gaining out of it. This is just a side note. Be careful out there. David Bailey, he's the guy behind the Bitcoin conference. It looks like Bitcoin Mena conference handle had been compromised last night. Hopefully everyone remains safe. If you see weird posts that are out of line, it's best not to click those at all. We're going to see more and more hack attempts and scam attempts come as Bitcoin and crypto become more mainstream adoption. It's going to be more sought after than ever before. And you guys, you're crazy enough to be here with me while things are down, right? I mean, they're not even really down, but they're not like hyper exciting. And so when things do enter that hype cycle phase, the scammers are going to like the comments after each show are absolutely ridiculous. You see like all these really weird tokens being shilled in the comments, just know that 99% of those types of comments are indeed bots or flat out scammers, and they are literally there to just empty your wallet. So just keep that in mind. Be very, very skeptical of what you see out there. Now, as I was talking about, this thing is becoming mainstream crypto. And the SEC went on CNBC to say that banks are ready to start holding it, man. Let's have a listen.
Yeah, well, first of all, it wasn't even a rule. And I think that was one problem, that it didn't go through the normal process. It was just a pronouncement. And what that pronouncement did is it said that lots of traditional entities that would have done custody for crypto, practically speaking, could not participate in providing custody for crypto. And so what we're trying to do with eliminating SAB 121 is to say, if you have experience in custody, you can come into this space. It's not to say that entities that are crypto native and want to provide custody, that they can't do it, but it's really to say we want to have as broad a pool as possible of potential custodians. That's what's best for the safety of people's assets.
This is crazy thing. Imagine walking into a Wells Fargo branch a year or two from now and seeing a Bitcoin advertisement or any sort of mention that Bitcoin even exists inside of a bank in a physical form is something last cycle I knew was going to happen eventually. Eventually, they'd have to give in to us, but absolutely crazy to see Hester Pierce. She is pretty high up in the SEC. Tell CNBC and the rest of the world that this is actually happening. Absolutely crazy. Now, would I ever let the bank hold my Bitcoin? The answer is no. Simply, it's I'm going into Bitcoin IRA, and also this guy right here. Okay, the Arculus cold storage wallet is the easiest cold storage wallet to use out there. It comes in a beautiful package, opens up, you get your card, a metal card, 3-factor authentication. It's very, very easy to use. So, when I see the banks going for, hey, we're going to custody your Bitcoin, don't ever do it. I would never do that. It's either cold custody or an IRA type setup for me. And I am diversified in that realm. But, seeing this, it really tells me that there's a larger conversation in the background happening for Bitcoin. And the system is so over levered. They're going to be adding $7 to $8 trillion in debt over the next 5 years. Elon came in, did everything he could, but honestly, the beast is too big. And we got some comments from Secretary Bessent about this that I actually want to talk about right now, because he says that the U.S. is never going to default on its $36 trillion in debt. A way that I think that this could actually be true is, I think eventually, 100 years, 200 years from now, it's definitely possible. But the U.S. can probably extend its fiat life cycle and really the world fiat life cycle by backing the dollars and the fiat with hard assets like gold and Bitcoin. I think that they could actually extend that. So thinking about that, either we can never default. I wouldn't say never, but the lifespan of fiat currency is likely being expanded by, the fiat combination with Bitcoin and gold. Previously we did have a gold connection up until 1971 with the U.S. Now, we never got a gold audit. We never saw that happen. That's how it works. The creature will never stop printing. I know, sufficient enough. It's aggravating, but it's the reality that we live in. And you know what? We're seeing some weird signals within the Bitcoin plays on Wall Street. We have this dude 40 days ago. Director Gerard Patton sold over half of his MicroStrategy shares. And now this is, on top of these large correction calls on the MicroStrategy stock. I could see this playing out. I don't think that we're going to be playing out exactly to this, but when the Bitcoin correction of about 50%, maybe 60% does happen, MicroStrategy absolutely will pull back, right? So this is why, it depends on how early you got in on when it comes to protecting your value. For me, protecting my value means leaving it in Bitcoin and or gold and guns. But you know what? To each your own. If you have huge monetary goals and you got a house in mind that you want. Like, have it in your mind of what's actually going to change your life, and then you'll know when to pull the trigger on sales, right? That's really what it's all about. Let's see here. Buy land, guns. We're almost there. Blockchain Basement always here to level Sadru and Isaac. Appreciate you, gents. And shout out to Isaac. He's out there on a church mission with the kids, spreading the word of Jesus, So I could be upset of him for not being here, but no, I can't, because he's out there doing the Lord's work. Shout out to you, Mr. Isaac. Did I say golden guns? Yes. Yes, I did. And now gold, I'm not going to be interested in getting until I see a pullback. Gold, Bitcoin, and guns. Absolutely. And homes. I like homes. I like all those things. So now we have this. And this is why I'm not de-risking, dudes and dudettes, is because of this freaking graph right here. The M2 money supply has indeed hit a new all-time high. It is breaking out in terms of all-time highs. And the dip that we saw, I do want to go look at this. The dip that we saw is very, very on brand with the Bitcoin to M2 money supply path, the pathway that it's been following here. Where is this? Right here. Okay. So this is 105 days disconnected. So the M2 money supply front runs Bitcoin's price historically by about 105 days. So we're at that point. We're at the correction level. It's very normal to see this. And I am not de-risking. Just knowing where the money supply went after it, corrected and moved on up, plus the weekly green dot, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Others, if you're getting worried, short it, get out, whatever you want to do. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. And seeing the M2 money supply breaking out, man, I am not ready to step away from this, not by a long shot. So, with all this going on, the biggest pullbacks that we have are the crazy stuff that Trump says about tariffs and scaring the markets at large. We had something kind of crazy come out from Trump. Let me know what you think about this idea that he rolled out. Absolutely unhinged. We're going to have a listen to this.
They're the absolute worst group of people we've got in our country, and it's not even close. I think we'd all be better off with them gone. But as I was saying, my administration and I have been taking careful note of the work of Colossal Labs, the biotech company that resurrected the dire wolf. If they can bring back wolves, they can bring back dinosaurs. Terrible lizard. That's what dinosaur means if you break it down. But picture this, folks. Velociraptor, mounted Border Patrol agents. They'll rip your head clear off. Pterodactyls patrolling the skies, velociraptors on the ground. To prevent the immigration apocalypse, we may have to counter with a dino-apocalypse, folks. It's true.
Dino-apocalypse. This is obviously a deep fake, right? Another power behind AI is recreating biblical scenes. I saw, a lot of biblical scenes like David and Goliath being recreated. That's kind of fun, right? That's kind of like the random thing you didn't think would happen out of AI. But you know what? Now we're going to look at, instead of Dino-apocalypse and Border Patrol agents mounted on velociraptors, let's look at some reality here. And the reality is the expansion within altcoin sectors is looking good. This is what happens when you stop talking about scaling and actually build it. This blue line on this graph is base, which is pulling away from the pack. And this is a transaction count that does not utilize the data from system transactions. This is simply just users and smart contracts. And as you can see, base has been absolutely crushing it in this realm. Slothman likes this idea. I kind of like this idea. We should do it. I mean, if we can bring the dire wolf back. I mean, we all saw Jurassic Park. I want to know from the chat, how many of you think that we can actually come up with dinosaurs again? I personally think like we can do it. I'm down with it. If you want to do it, then do it. We could have some, if someone is crazy enough to want to go to like a dinosaur island and hang out at a dinosaur island, have at it. You know what I mean? Crypto Steve doesn't think so. Maybe it's just the hopeful romantic in me that wants to see Jurassic Park become reality. Not a good idea. Peter John says Jurassic World's example. Why not to do so? Imagine a T-Rex running through LA. Like, remember that? That was pretty bullish. All that, political stuff would just fix itself. All right, so let's look at the speaking of dinosaurs, let's look at the altcoin sector. Ooh, no, I'm just kidding. But seriously, let's look at it. So KTA is this Kita network. I'm keeping a close eye on this. I talked about some entry levels that I want on this project, so I'm kind of in the mode of researching it, keeping up with it. It's definitely been skyrocketing. Blah blah blah. He's been bragging about the entry points, yada yada. Fastest blockchain, 10 million transactions per second. The mainnet is launching this month, backed by Eric Schmidt, who has also backed Render in 2020. And Render made some big moves, right? Render definitely did make some big moves. He's talking about a chance that Visa or Stripe uses Kita for their cross-border settlements. So maybe just, focusing in on one of these types of organizations, Visa or Stripe, to get into that cross-border settlement. I don't, sit here and be like, oh my God, it's going to be the next dollar. But if they have a focus within one particular company like Visa or Stripe to do this, that'd be a pretty big move for as small of a project as it is so far. I think it's about $1 billion market cap as it sits right now. All I'm saying is buy a ticket and take a ride, because the gut feeling is going to the top 10. Top 10 would be ridiculous. That'd be like a 200x or something like that from where it's at right now. No tier one centralized exchanges have it listed yet. So relatively still early on this. Let's go hop in and check the chart out today as well. I got a couple projects I want to check out. Yeah, geez, this thing's up. On the 7-day, it's up 33%. It's at $1 right now, $1.09. Trying to build a damn shelf. Ooh. Oh. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm going to be greedy and rude about this. I want this. If I miss it, I miss it. But I want to buy these tested support levels at around 65 cents. That's what I want for Kita. It might I'll do a slight DCA if we get like 80-cent realm, or just to pull back to this realm. But this is really where I'd be looking for it. And I want to, when you see, I know I'm looking at some crazy altcoins and kind of deep picks. This is how I've been able to do what I've done in crypto, is by buying while others are not paying attention, right? So we see, obviously the viewership, the interest from the retail person in crypto, it's very, very low. And it's backwards for me, because I come to work very excited to cover the market while no one's paying attention, because that's my most exciting time to buy good, exciting projects, or Bitcoin even. Drew, am I adding to my altcoin bags? Mostly, but honestly, this Kita bag is interesting me. I have interest in this Kita bag. And another one I have interest in is Cetus. I've just seen a lot of growth on SWI. Cetus has had a pretty dang good pullback from that whole bud pile. I can't remember. It was like some sort of exploit or something like that, but they just returned the funds. It's obviously centralized, right? It's not like Bitcoin where it's truly decentralized. But these are kind of on my mind, actually, as Kita and Cetus. We're also looking at Marinade. These are kind of like the top of mind alts that I've been watching. The Marinade TVL to price on the token, a very, very good comparison. So, it's undiscovered still, Solana DeFi. But Marinade actually, it has my interest right now. And you know what? We're seeing this. This is total retail stuff. Robinhood completed an acquisition of Bitstamp. They literally acquired Bitstamp, bringing on a licensed global exchange with retail institutional users already baked into it across Europe, UK, and the United States and Asia. So Robinhood's expanding. They know what's coming. They know that they print money when retail comes back in. And so they, they're just expanding their network, and they see what's coming. Do you? Are you going to, what do you de-risk into this? What do you go into? Fiat dollars? Do you turn into a slumlord and get raped by insurance levels? Let's see here. Joseph. Go to the front of the show. Isaac's out there doing the Lord. He's on a church mission thing. I think it's like a summer camp, church summer camp. I talk to him every day. He's out there. Here's Ethereum. Going for Pride Month. A lot of companies did away with Pride Month. Now it's freaking Ethereum leaning into it. But Ethereum Foundation announces major restructuring, and now it's rebranding its protocol R&D team as Protocol with a focus on scaling blobs, and improving the user experience. You know what? Can we do away with this, though? I mean, it's Vitalik's talking about communism, and then he just has to do that. Even Target refused to do it this time around. Even that should tell you something, Ethereum. Even Target stopped with the BS, and then yet here you are with this frickin' rainbow emblem. Unbelievable. Now, another alt's been interesting, and honestly, this is a very, very strong project, honestly, is Monero. The inflation rate on Monero keeps falling. And generally, guys, like this, the price action of Monero is not really disappointing, especially compared to the rest of the altcoin market. $344 currently. The overall graph looks absolutely delicious on Monero. And it did, a lot of people are thinking that this is going to be the peak. I kind of doubt that, honestly. I'm more looking at the higher lows being created along the way. The inflation rates coming down on it. And really, I mean, this looks gorgeous to me. No homo at all. This is Monero on the graph. And you know what? I'm a privacy maxi, a decentralization maxi. I like it. So shout out to Monero peeps. I think Mind Your Biz is the best Monero peep out there. And now Veteran Crypto brought this up to me. He's bringing me back down memory lane. Taking me down memory lane. Airsoft milsims, man. These are military simulations done with Airsoft, and you're making me want to. Maybe we should set up like a meetup where we can all get together and play this, because there's a Jay bringing this up. I got some good stuff. That's actually has to be in a safe because it's so good. This is their conversation, but they had some good highlights on it. It's an amazing workout for sure, especially if you're wearing full, like, actual weighted vests, which people will look at you kind of weird. But it is what it is. It works really well. It makes your knees very strong. And if you do 8 hours running around and trying to not to get dusted by 12-year-olds with Airsoft weaponry, it's a great workout. It absolutely is a great workout. And you get the, Vet was talking about the tactical movements and the angles game. If you've never had experience with the angles of, dealing with going in and out of buildings and stuff like that, it is very, very, very useful. And it's very cheap. Like, think about it. Airsoft pellets, it's basically like dry fire practice, but it has a projectile that if you get the right kind of setup, they stay flat for like 100 yards. And nothing is more humbling than getting dusted by a 12-year-old simply because they're so short, you don't expect them to be behind whatever obstacle, and they come out and pop you. You know what I mean? It's like learning how to fight in the Congo or something like that. It's amazing. But yeah, I really want to get a setup going back and get back out there on the field. So thanks for the reminder, Vet and Jay. You're giving me, you know what? Maybe for Father's Day, I'm going to go out there and do it. For Father's Day, probably. You better have night vision goggles, or I'm going to take your manhood while you're sleeping. Airsoft. Great practice for facing off against 5 foot tall North Korean. Absolutely. The height thing, man. You never realize how being big kind of sucks until you're trying to like cramp into a doorway and not be seen, and you're just too big. You know what I mean? Or you're having to crouch behind things for a long time. Ooh, Miss Tia saying do it June 15th. All right. It's on. It's happening. All right. So now let's talk about the tariffs. Let's talk about the crazy stuff. We have a pretty big week of tariff news coming up this week, so I am keeping an eye on that. This plays into my trading process. Trump tariffs have shattered records, though. $22 billion were made in May as the revenue doubled off of the Trump tariffs. The revenues hit these record levels following April's $16 billion haul. So big upswing. This is where the tariffs, April 2nd was Liberation Day right there. And we've actually started to pull in a lot of money from the tariffs. Year to date, the government has collected $67 billion in tariff revenue, but over the just 2 months, we're at damn near damn near the majority of that. That's absolutely crazy. This is what America First trade policy looks like in action. Every billion collected is a billion less in taxes Americans have to pay from the Department of Treasury. This is a very, very good sign that the tariffs, and a lot of people forget that there was a time where America did not have internal revenue service. We had all external revenue coming in and funding the country. It's just we've been corporately captured and turned into slaves. And you know what? It's time to change that. It's time to change. Why do I want to ban? Let me see if I got a reason to ban. I want to look for a reason to ban Crypto Steve-O. Damn it. All right. You know what? I can't even tell why I'm doing it, Steve-O, but it just something in my bones tells me you are banned. Is what it is, Crypto Steve-O. It's what it is. These tariffs, though, this is an old school American idea, is an external revenue service that we can utilize to stop turning our internal citizens into monetary slaves. I really, really hate that we've gone so far. Like, we pay like 60% of our income, if you add up everything, to the I'm not going to cuss, to the government, so that they can sit there and start new wars and try to convince us into fighting them for them. It's quite an aggravating situation. So now we have this. We have Trump. This was yesterday, demanding final trade deal offers from countries by Wednesday, tomorrow, to avoid the reinstatement of tariffs. But it seems like conversations have ticked up between him and President Xi Jinping of China. They're set to hold a conversation on Friday. Okay, so Friday, it just broke that Friday is the day when we're going to see this conversation between President Xi Jinping and Trump take place. I think there's been a lot of the art of the deal already on Trump's side, and Xi Jinping and him are ready to come to a conclusion. It'd be great to see that happen. And you know what? If it does get worse, the $92,000 Bitcoin CME gap would probably be in my eyes. If we have a breakdown in communication between China and President Trump this Friday, I'd be looking at that 92K level. So we have paused the tariffs on Chinese goods until August 31st as well. This is further signs that something positive will come out of this conversation. But internally in the United States, California's pretty pissed. They're going to take the Trump tariff tantrum to court. A judge in San Francisco has told California they have to take their fight over to the different court here. They took it to the wrong place, said that these kinds of cases have to go to the trade court in New York, not just a basic federal court. California says Trump does not have the power to set tariffs and is using the law that does not mention them at all. Bullshit. He's the commander-in-chief of the United States. This is retarded. Hard R. They tried to shut down this case to restart in a friendlier court, but the judge said no dice. Look at that. Oh, they're trying to choose their court to play in. Other courts have made rulings to limit Trump tariff moves, but his team is pushing back. And so far, the court in Washington says that the tariffs have to stay in place. Imagine that, the commander-in-chief commanding where things are going. It's so aggravating that, like when I was dealing with the Biden administration, there was not this, he's not my president, you don't get it, you don't control me. He is the president. Whoever is the president of the U.S. literally is calling the shots. It's the commander-in-chief. There's a voting process. He wins. He got it for 4 years. Do better next time. Just this constant bickering and complaining and trying to stop his movements from actually taking action. Quite aggravating. And honestly, what did the tariffs do? Because the real inflation, people talk about the tariffs are going to make inflation so bad. Bull. Okay, I don't want to scream here, but houses have doubled, cars have doubled or tripled, food has tripled or quadrupled. We've already seen a massive amount of inflation from the COVID print. This is all based from the Federal Reserve and their need to keep the system in the background of their private funding rolling on your back and my back. This is not connected to any political party. Like, this is the system of the Federal Reserve literally just existing is what's causing the inflation that we see. So if we see this roll back, the tariffs fought back against, honestly, I think it's going to show a sign of weakness to other countries. They're going to know that we're ripped apart and we can't make a damn choice for ourselves. And then they're going to take advantage of that. So now we have this. This is another industry me and my wife are talking about, the nuclear power industry. And I saw this article come up here. We'll take a look at it. So Meta has struck a power agreement with Constellation Nuclear Plant. Go away, Baldy. All right. So Meta Platforms on Tuesday said it struck an agreement with Constellation Energy, CEG, to keep one of the utility reactors in Illinois operating for another 20 years. Why it's important, big tech companies are looking to secure electricity for the U.S. power demand as it rises for the first time in 2 decades. Why? Because of AI. Okay, they want to roll out AI en masse and replace as many jobs as they can, so they need more power to do so on demand for artificial intelligence and data centers. I didn't even read that. That's exactly what they said. But look at the garbage spin right after why we need to do this and what's going to actually happen. Oh, but how does this do for our ESG trends? How does this affect companies that want to be on this environmental sustainability? Right? Governments with Reuters sustainable, they try to just send you right up here. How does it play into our climate disastrous ideals here? The deal will help keep the Constellation Clinton Clean Energy Center, which may have been forced to shut down and expire in 2027 in Illinois, up and running. So they realized, wait a minute, we can't do away with nuclear energy. And so we're going to have to lean into this. We're going to have to say yes to this. I understand. Honestly, this is bullish for not only investing in clean, nuclear clean energy, but also for the construction, heavy industrial construction. If you're in those trades of structural concrete, things of that nature, I think it's going to be very, very good. And my wife was mentioning, maybe she's in the chat and she can give me this. I think it's NNE is like nano nuclear energy. I think I found it. Let's check out this graph. So it's actually pretty new. It's only been out for the span of weeks. Let's see here. This is one that I want to keep an eye on. I'm actually going to just keep this graph tag. It's a very new nuclear energy play that she kind of dug up here. This is on top. I remember talking to was it Dagnum from Constellation DAG. He was talking about Mercedes finding a new pivot point of pivoting into kind of small nuclear reactors as well. And I think we're going to see a lot of surprising movements from the likes of Mercedes or companies like it that want to lean into the energy production sector. So seeing that, I want to take advantage of it. Now, what do we got here? David Middleton, you want a short whiff? I mean, it pumped by like 20% now. What's the market? Is the market rolling over a little bit? Are we getting near the 105 thing? Let's go take a look. Hold on. Wait a minute. Something might be right. We got 105.9. Okay. So we are taking a little bit of a haircut. Good. Let's see here. Let's go to, this is the futures. It's funny, the futures are still at 106 or something like that. But let's go to BTC. Good old true and tried BTC in crypto. The stamp 105.9. Okay. We might get that. We might get that little rollover here. I'm going to keep an eye on this. I might be able to enter a trade. I had to be cautious, man. It wasn't my environment this morning, wasn't my environment to take that long this morning. So just had to be patient on that. There's a lot of people short and whiff. Steve, how long did I ban Steve-O for? I wonder how long I banned him for. Let me take a look. Let's see here. He's fine. I think he's fine. I'll keep an eye on this this chart as I'm working out and throughout the day. Where is liquidity sitting right now? Let's hop on over to here. This is the fact. You know what? You wonder why Drew's so busy and why I'm so bobble-headed all over the damn place. Looking at retail noobs. That's what he was doing. Savage. Yeah, I mean, the liquidity kind of runs out in the short term after it breaks this 105 level. So, yeah, I mean, that's actually the 105. Well, looks pretty decent for me. I'll keep an eye on it because if I see us break down to this 105 and wipe that kind of short-term liquidity, by that time happening, then I could see the momentum wave to the downside, and then particularly the entrance of the trade could be dictated by this. So the VWAP looking like, okay, so you see the money flow is trying to tick to the upside, the VWAPs to the downside. When I see the VWAP act like this, we get the trigger, the momentum wave is still moving down, and then it prints that green dot. That's the juicy shit right there. That's the juice. And that's where you can get like actual good movement on that trade. So I'll be watching that here. Good looking out. Thanks for reminding me. Look at the Bitcoin price now. Home sales. All right, so I talked about the car market and the problems there in the car market yesterday. I want to talk about the housing market. There is currently $700 billion worth of homes on the market, and this is a record. It's a new all-time high, but guess what? It gets worse because the government is literally using our tax dollars to artificially keep a lot of homes off of the market to make the situation even that much worse, and then lower prices because inventory explodes. They're using our money that they demand by enforcing violence, but they say it's voluntary, right? Sure. And they use that money to not only start wars, but to keep houses off of the market artificially so that they can keep the prices propped up. To protect who? To protect the banks. Because if the price breaks below a certain threshold, then the FHLB rating, or the money that the bank owes compared to how much it has on the books, hits a critical level, and then the FDIC has to absorb that bank. The bank goes away, right? So they're protecting themselves and keeping the houses off the market artificially, even while the markets that are already on the market are at all-time highs. You know what? Like discount. Put the houses on the market. Give people good entry points, for God's sakes. I mean, they've doubled in price. The average house price is like $450,000. You have to make like, I think the average amount of money you need to make to own a home in America is like $150,000 or something like that. Like, that's ridiculous. People deserve to be able to own a home, right? It's this Klaus Schwab nightmare of own nothing and be happy that's rolling out in front of me. That's why I fight so hard. That's the driving factor of stopping own nothing and be happy. That gets me up every single day, zoom into the office and looking at everything on the macro economy, on cryptos, because I do not want to see that happen for the average person. Absolutely do not want to see that happen for the average person. So now we see that another thing I don't want to see happen is frickin' World War III go ballistic. And we see NATO pushing European members to increase their ground-based air defense systems by 5-fold, or 5x their ground-based air defense systems. So NATO is really, really pushing. I do actually think that, what we're seeing in Ukraine, that drone attack, was in connection or in cohesion with NATO. You're trying to convince me that they didn't have a part in that. You got a lot of selling to do, because they've planned it for about a year and a half, and they took out 40 large aircraft, massive hit to the Russian Air Force. So seeing that escalation really quite worrisome. And then we see rhetoric breaking out of the UK, which makes it that much worse. This is Starmer talking about what Britain's getting ready for.
And today, following through on this review, I want to set out 3 fundamental changes that we're going to deliver. First, we are moving to warfighting readiness as the central purpose of our armed forces. When we are being directly threatened by states with advanced military forces, the most effective way to deter them is to be ready. And frankly, to show them that we're ready, to deliver peace through strength. Now, Britain has the finest servicemen and women in the world. We're showing them the respect that they deserve by delivering the biggest armed forces pay rise in 20 years, and by pledging today that we will end the hollowing out of our armed forces. We'll build a fighting force that is more integrated, more ready, more lethal than ever, backed by a stronger strategic reserve, fully trained, and ready to mobilize at any time.
Okay, so like the British SAS are sick, but the finest overall military fighting force on the planet, that's a stretch. And they are very, very close to Russia in comparison to the United States. So, when we see this, I really wish these war hawks would shut the hell up about war hawking against Russia. Russia, if you think about Stalingrad, like Russia gives no F's when it comes to if their back's against a wall, like they will literally go down to the last person. And they got a lot of people in a pretty large landscape. It's just very, very cold and kind of sparse in the cold spots. But Russia is quite experienced at warfare. And, thinking about this hit that Russia took, Putin getting a little bit hotter and heavier, I think that one major problem that we're looking at kind of in the short term is potentially a major move coming on Kiev in Ukraine. And that'll further push like Article 5. And if the Article 5 is invoked out of the NATO, then they're using, actual military hardware, aircraft, all of it. If Article 5 is put into place by NATO, then Putin nukes, right? And that's a big problem. So we don't want to see that. It's very, very uncomfortable for me to see these, war hawks talking about, oh, get ready, Ukraine, or UK, we're going to go and fight Russia. Like, bro, you just don't. Can we just not? Can we just, how about not? I don't want to see, that happen. Amicus Rav thinks he knows something that we don't. Well, like the war is inevitable, right? Like there's no way to back out of this. I don't feel like this war is inevitable, man. It's like we could just let Russia. Okay, so Ukraine was the motherland of Russia. And then NATO starts placing military like how would America act if China started putting military installations in Mexico? Right? Like how would they act? Hopefully it's not like a kinetic war. I know I feel it in my bones that it's inevitable, but I'm really like the optimist in me is hopeful that it doesn't happen. It's just, this is why I prep and do all that stuff in the background, is because America goes in cycles. So we're at like this fourth turning here, and every 100 years, America enters this make or break it war. I think it's like 80 or 100 years, and we're right at that time frame precipice right now. And the world is basically been normalizing this idea of World War III for a very, very long time. And it's very concerning, man. As a dad of 4 kids and a husband, and I want everyone to get along, but I just know that that's not humankind, and I know that we move in these damn cycles. The same thing as trading. So, seeing that, I could see us like expanding and waiting to go, because think about how long it took America to actually enter World War II. Like it took a lot for America to finally enter. It wasn't like we just started off World War II going against the Germans right out of the gates. Like we had to say no for quite some time. I think we waited till Lusitania, or like a civilian vessel, a vessel with a bunch of civilians got hit and taken out by Germans. That's what finally was like, all right, we're getting into this. Very, very upsetting to think about here. People are saying AI fake news. That's not AI or fake news. That's been kind of the conversation out of the UK for quite some time. This is a good question though. Let's think about this. I want your guys' opinion. Would you rather have a world war or a zombie apocalypse? This is a very difficult question here. Let me think about this. Oh no. Would you rather have would you rather have a world war, a zombie apocalypse? Woo! Yeah, Pearl Harbor again for World War II, right? Yeah. Oh, zombies don't have nukes, so that's good. Yeah, I'm going with zombies here. I'm going with zombies here because zombies don't have nukes and they don't have radio frequency weaponry. They don't have drones. Drones are much more terrifying to me than zombies. I can say it that way. And even running zombies, right? Definitely zombies because I don't have to worry about drones, radio frequency weaponry. I don't have to worry about my heat signature. And zombies don't have long range rifles, right? So that's good. Yeah, I'm going with zombies. Zombies evolve. God, don't do that to me. 90% of Americans are effing zombies right now. Yeah, don't be that zombie. You know, if you're in public, people watching is great. Okay, I love people watching. You know, fiber optic zombies, please don't do this to me. Unbelievable. You guys are making okay, and this is where the balance of being a prepper and in crypto comes in, man. It's like, you know, all my years of TV have me prepared for zombies. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. All right, let's honestly, Bitcoin is sitting here. While I'm working out, I'm gonna have to watch this. I am kind of hoping for a little bit of a washout because I want this this was resistance right here in these 2 points, about 105. Support, a little stumble point, support. So there's a lot of little short-term data points that I can work off for 105K. I was actually looking at this too. It was resistance for this whole channel and then started acting as support for this bounce point. Kind of in that same zone. You know, and I don't expect like massive excited bullishness until we see that trade finalization come this Friday. And it could go poorly and we could go fill the 92K CME gap. It's just when I'm out there trading, I'm only using like a fifth of the bag. Like right now, I only got a G. I got a very small amount for the overall trading bag on the front lines fighting for the next big trade. Working in you work at Wally World? Oh my God, zombies already exist. Yeah. Don't be the zombie, man. Engage with humanity, dudes and dudettes. Like people are cool. Some of them. I mean, even the ones that aren't cool. Yeah, I'd still say like don't let yourself fall into that, you know, head down to the phone constantly, just never looking out in front of you. Like be aware. Be aware. You know, that really is a big moral of, you know, what I'm trying to emphasize here. It's like we see so many people just kind of floating through and there's flopping bodies just dealing with whatever news is going on. Think for yourself, right? Think for yourself. You can take in a bunch of information, you know, all kinds of good news sources, but really it's up to your discernment, your gut feeling that you can develop. And kind of up in your vibe, man. Up in your vibe. Get above that, you know, just victim mentality, floppy fish vibe that's out there. Read the book World War Z. So good. The movie sucked donkey balls. So I'll read that book. I didn't like the movie. I did not like the movie at all. Love Zombieland. Great movie. You know, they've been making a lot of zombie movies. And gosh, there's the guy who wrote War of the Worlds. I think it's H.G. Wells. He was like very connected to the elites that run society at large. The War of the Worlds was kind of like the start of like the sci-fi kind of, you know, cool looking futuristic viewpoints for humanity, but with the side of everyone's gonna die and aliens are gonna do it. I think that the book H.G. Wells, you know, I think back to that time frame and kind of the mindset that these elites have been painting for. It's almost always designed to keep your head low. Like you never know if aliens are going to come wipe you all out or if zombies are going to come wipe you all out. You know, if it happens, it happens, right? It's kind of the same concept as Yellowstone. If it happens, it happens. Just do your best, you know, do your best every day to build a good, healthy family to, you know, and sometimes when I get aggravated by the markets, I get in a bad mood. But I have to very concisely, you know, I mean, sometimes it like last week, it took me like a day or two to get out of my aggravated move, be reminded that patience is a virtue. And, you know, if it was easy, everyone would do it. Like, so, you know, when it comes to trading, when it comes to holding crypto, It's not easy. There are great gains to be made, but you have to be patient. You have to be very steadfast, and you have to move with violence. So I love and appreciate every single one of you out there. Patton McCrotch, I'll be seeing you soon. Mr. Mann, Mrs. Bad Fox, DCA and Prey, David Middleton, working at Wally World. Keep holding it down for me, brother. MCO, DJ Flexa, DeFi, Crypto, and Airdrops. We're about to go check them out. Sloth Man, what do we got here? Sufficient Enough, Amicus, and all the rest of, Chastity, Jeff R. I love you guys. We'll be hopping over to DeFi, Crypto, and Airdrops now. Might be talking about that Keta project. I know they've been talking about that a lot and kind of how to interact with it. I'm going to go work out, see if I can get that 105 entry point and start going back into the trading on the Discover Investments Group Discord. Again, make sure to click the link in our description for all of the different partners and sponsors that we have for IRAs. We have Bitcoin IRA. For cold storage, we got a code BASE10 for your Arculus cold storage device. Trading, and to get in on the Discover Investments Group Discord, it's free. Just send us your user ID to office@hit network and sign up with L Bank in the link in our description. I love you guys, and I'll see you real soon.